What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So, tech giants apparently are starting to not necessarily make a move, but I guess there's a trend of tech giants, reaching the consensus of wanting to tap into nuclear energy so that they can keep up with the demands of their businesses. And that's what this video is going to be about. Just kind of covering that subject, not really going into the details of nuclear energy at large, the pros and cons, and all that stuff. I think we've reached a point where not only due to fantasy stuff like TV shows, comics, and the like, but even real life, whenever nuclear like bombs and technology is used, it's usually very harmful to everyone and everything around it. I personally have never heard of nuclear energy, like say a bomb or something being dropped off, and good stuff happen afterwards. So I know for me, stereotypically, I hear nuclear energy, I'm like, this is bound to go wrong very fast. Before I get too deep into it, let's go and go over this and see what these guys got planned. So just to name a few, you have some of the tech giants, the typical Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, usual suspects making headlines for deciding to invest in nuclear power, which is apparently very important to them for a multitude of reasons, but one of the main reasons being they want to get into cleaner sources of energy without as many, if any, drawbacks. And that's what nuclear power is supposed to kind of like relieve them of. Just a quick like definition. Again, I'm not going to go very in depth with it. If you guys want me to, if you want me to make a video covering nuclear energy to the best of my ability and like what it is and why this may be important, then let me know in the comment section below. Just to do like a quick overview, nuclear energy is a carbon-free power source, which is crucial for those tech giants companies like Amazon, Google, pretty much the MANGA companies or FANG companies, because they want to reduce their carbon footprints. Unlike fossil fuels, nuclear power plants don't emit greenhouse gases, which creates that or aids in it basically traps heat that's supposed to escape the earth and traps it in, which is contributing to global warming. That's kind of like the beginner middle school level, concept of it as far as greenhouse gases. And for those type of companies that have ambitious goals, they're huge, they're global, they have their own operations, they produce like tech goods from computer chips to Bluetooth speakers, the technology that's becoming important to just regular everyday society, but also to, tech enthusiasts that may turn their houses into smart homes and everything in between. Is very big and important to those companies that by 2030, they reach a negative carbon footprint. So they're not putting out any greenhouse gases, which again is bad for the environment and mainly aids in the speed, like how fast climate change and global warming is taking place. The issue with nuclear power is environmental risks, which again is pretty common sense. Even if you've done nothing but watch movies all your life, that's usually a pretty common thing. Like once someone brings in a nuclear anything, a nuclear missile, usually your ears perk up and be like, yeah, that's not good for anyone or anything. So yeah, it's not good to the environment. It could contaminate water, essentially. One of the main things that can contaminate is water, and there's really no conclusive evidence or details on specifically what would go wrong if radiation was again to water and just everything. But even then, personally, I don't think we need too many specifics because whenever big like nuclear bombs and nuclear weapons and things have been released, well, the idea, at least on paper, is whatever area was affected, you have to stay away from that area for like 1 or 2 millennia, something like that, 1 to 2,000 years. It's something like that. It's not good. I just know it's not good. Why are they choosing to take those risks, potentially take those risks, to invest in nuclear power and make it their main source of energy, despite some of the major, even if it's fewer risks, those risks are still like huge in effectiveness. So one of the reasons is their data centers, which of course powers their cloud services, artificial intelligence features and services, streaming. Those type of services that these companies offer us eat up a whole lot of power, which of course, is why they put out so many greenhouse gases and so much of the greenhouse gases, which again, not good for the environment. So that's why they're thinking to pivot to a different source of energy that is renewable. Of course, you have like hydropower and wind power. I don't think those type of energy sources, the reason they're considering nuclear energy is because those type of energy sources won't be as efficient as nuclear power. It says that while renewable sources like solar and wind power are essential to powering the facilities, they can be inconsistent due to weather changes. So that goes into what I just said. Nuclear power provides stable, around-the-clock energy supplies, ensuring that the data centers will be able to run efficiently around the clock with no interruption, or at least minimal interruption. So that's pretty critical, especially when you're looking at incident response, trying to save data, back data up, whether it's from natural disasters such as the hurricanes and storms that are going on right now, to, I can't think of any, but maybe man-made desires, like say accidental fires, like say if because forest fires and things like that actually are natural, but the size and frequency of the fires we've been experiencing for Lord knows how long are what's considered unnatural. And again, global warming is playing a very huge role in that, because the areas, mainly in California, like where I'm from, those areas have always been known to have forest fires. It's nothing new. And actually, it's been proven that forest fires are good because it essentially revitalizes the soil that was consumed in the fire and brings new life into it. And like those forests and things that are like eaten up during those disasters can actually bounce back even stronger than they were. There's a, depending on how you look at it, a godly or like a natural interval and, kind of like schedule that that's supposed to follow. And we as people, have thrown that off. So you can, I don't know if you want to say that man-made or natural. But while nuclear power can provide consistent energy, the upfront financial investment is significant. No surprise there. Other projects may face delays. And also the companies look forward to quickly moving toward renewable energy targets, but it's going to have a slow rollout. It's going to take a while for things to get rolling. And that could be a disadvantage compared to faster options that can get up and running more quickly, like solar or wind energy, as I mentioned earlier. So this is an entirely new concept for me personally. Apparently, investing in nuclear power can also enhance energy security. With global energy markets facing disruptions from geopolitical tensions and fossil fuel supply issues, having a reliable and domestic source of power like nuclear can ensure that companies don't face power shortages or skyrocketing energy costs. So they'll basically will be self-reliant in that sense. If nuclear power became the go-to, at least for major corporations based here, let's just call it in the Western Hemisphere at large, but for the sake of argument, we'll just say the United States maybe combined with Canada, because they're so in arm's reach, they're right there. So, let's say between the US and Canada, you are more self-reliant and you don't have to worry about geopolitical tensions, war breaking out, people stealing oil, whatever the case may be. You don't have to worry about that taking place in the Middle East and other parts of Africa and what have you. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that concept of energy security, in that, it's closer to home. We put our hands on it, we manage it, we keep our eyes on it, and whatever issues that come up with it, we take care of it. So it's meant to come from prevention of denial of service, basically. Whatever service or tools, whatever that you're using, that these companies provide to us as regular everyday civilians, government personnel, what have you, I would say especially government personnel, that's pretty important. Now, as far as some of the more specific, I guess, examples of the risks that nuclear energy can present, they're rare, but you can have catastrophic consequences. And the two main examples I came across were Chernobyl, which, especially with the release of the movie, I think a year or two ago, that's pretty obvious. And then Fukushima, which I was trying to reference earlier, but I couldn't remember. So Fukushima. Modern reactors are definitely much safer and more advanced than they have been historically speaking. So the potential risk of like the nuclear energy like leaking out or somehow making an entire area uninhabitable, at least for humans and other life forms as we know them, is much lower than it's been it's much lower than it's been in recent history, at least. But it still poses a risk to when it comes to it being adopted widespread. When it comes to more companies, and who knows, there might even end up being like a regular everyday civilian way to somehow adopt nuclear energy, maybe not directly in their households, but hey, when you got money and some connections, you can make anything happen. And if you can make something safe enough, then I'm sure someone will find a way to get it sold on the regular everyday market. So who knows? That I think that's a little far-fetched because it's still nuclear, but we're in a capitalist society. If you can make something work, make it safe enough, and it generates a crap ton of money, then someone's going to say yes. So, I mean, we're in a day and age where Florida literally had to make it illegal for companies to sell cloned meat, not even straight from the earth, just animals and meat products and animal products and stuff. Like a state had to pass a law to do that. So I don't know. I don't think I'm as crazy as I sound. But yeah, man, the big tech giants are starting to make a move towards nuclear energy. They want a more than anything, I'll say, consistent source of energy that would benefit them and benefit us as their client base. But it's nuclear, so I'm sure we can go down a rabbit hole of the different risks and problems that this can bring along. Again, if you want me to talk about that, let me know. But I'll go ahead and leave this video here, guys. Let me know if you have any comments, suggestions, feedback, anything. Just share with me in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.